Just in the middle of the desert, in the middle of nowhere, and somehow you get to this phone and it just starts ringing. Like, that would freak me the fuck out.
Maybe it's just a desert road phenomenon.
People used to drive all the way out here to talk to complete strangers.
She met somebody in a chat room.
After a number of random dialings of the number, I began to reach random people.
Hello?
What if some civilization peered in on us when we were at the height of using magnetic tape? What if this is the media they're using to contact us?
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Thank you for stopping by. My name's Scarlett, and today I have a little bit of an urban legend for you guys. That is the story of the mysterious Mojave phone booth. So the Mojave phone booth was a real phone that was installed in the early 1960s in the middle of the Mojave Desert, about 70 miles from Las Vegas. There was another phone prior from 1948 until this phone, and that old one was a hand-cranked phone. You didn't have to pay to use it. It was in a little wooden box, and basically you would just crank it to make a phone call. But then come the early to mid 1960s, they decided to replace it with a payphone because everything has to cost money, right? So like I said, this was in the middle of the Mojave Desert, and for all intents and purposes, it was smack dab in the middle of nowhere. It was 30 miles from the nearest highway, was not by a service station or a village or a town. It was really just completely isolated. And I just find that to be sort of strange because, especially back in the time when we didn't have cell phones, I would think that the main purpose of a payphone would be for emergencies, like if your car broke down or something like that. And to get to this phone, like, you needed to have like a Jeep or a motorbike. The road, first of all, it wasn't like an obvious road, it was like an overgrown service path along telephone poles that you would have to go on to get to it. And you couldn't just drive on that with a regular like sedan or car or whatever. Like, you're pretty much screwed if you just had a regular car. So I just think that was kind of weird. I don't know if there were signs like there's a phone over here, but even if there was, it was so inaccessible, and I just find that to be very odd. And like I said, it was like 30 miles from the highway, so even if you could walk on this path, you would have to walk like a really long walk to get to it. So yeah, I just find that to be very weird, like the location of it. And so from the time the phone was installed, it pretty much remained unremarkable and undiscovered for the most part until the late 90s. In 1997, a man by the name of Godfrey Daniels, who prefers to go by Doc, according to an interview he did with NPR, he came across this little letter to the editor in a zine magazine, which sounds redundant to say, but it was basically like a small little magazine that people would use in the days before, you know, the internet happened, you know. The author was recounting this road trip that he had taken, and it was very, very short. It was barely anything, but he just mentioned that he had come across this phone booth in the middle of the Mojave Desert, and this really just sparked Doc's like imagination, his spirit, his whatever you want to call it. He just was really intrigued by this. So he said in his own words, "I was just imagining making a phone ring out where presumably no one could hear it except the coyotes. But then there's also in the back of your mind the thought, what if? Like, what if somebody is wandering by? Who would be out there? Who would pick it up?" He actually started doing some research and found where the phone was. I don't know if the number of the phone was included in this little article that he read or not, but he acquired the phone number of the phone booth somehow and just started calling it every day. He became like obsessed with it. And even that alone kind of seems weird to me. It's almost like the phone was like calling to him. I mean, that's just my take on it from the way he described it himself. He was calling it, and it became like gradually more and more and more frequently that he would do this. He took it so far as to make a website dedicated to the phone. And this is back like in 1997, so the internet was still up and coming. It was getting to the point where more and more people had internet and were starting to use it more collectively. You know, it wasn't like how it is today. And it was almost in a way more exciting for that generation of people because there were all these new ideas and new opportunities that we never had before the internet, like movies like The Matrix, like kind of like the dawn of technology. We were just at this turning point. So obviously a phone booth is not a breakthrough in technology in 1997, but the way that Doc saw it and the way that he portrayed it on his website made people feel the same way that he felt about it. Okay, so you guys want to laugh? I got up to close the window perfectly fine, maneuvered myself fine. Coming back, like literally 2 feet away, somehow my tripod just collapsed and the light fell off my camera, and then got everything set up again and it was out of focus, so I had to turn everything off. I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't know if there's... maybe I'm not supposed to be talking about this shit. I don't know. But yeah. So, look who's here. It's Casper. Casper's scared because I was cursing and screaming. Anyway, where the hell was I? Okay. But he made this website, and that's where things really started to take off. I should mention that after all his relentless calling, somebody did eventually answer the phone, and it turned out to be a woman who was a local volcanic cinder miner who didn't have a phone of her own, and she used this phone to make her calls. Which, again, I'm like thinking in my mind, like, where the hell did she live to be driving to this phone to make phone calls? She sounds like my kind of person though, like what I would love to be, like just in the middle of nowhere by myself. No phone, no social media, just me and my dog. But anyway, yeah, that was who he got on the phone. And so the idea was with this website, and what other people were imagining is that, you know, you don't know who you're gonna get. And maybe some people did want to like scare somebody if there just happened to be someone there. Like, imagine if you never heard of this before and you were just in the middle of the desert, in the middle of nowhere, and somehow you get to this phone and it just starts ringing. Like, that would freak me the fuck out. This was when the rumors started circulating about the phone. Now, a lot of people, even people that just look at pictures of it, say that it gives them a weird feeling. And of course, skeptics would say that it's just the fact that it's a phone in the middle of nowhere that makes it seem creepy. I disagree with that just because I don't think it's creepy at all. Like, even I look at it, I don't find any weird vibes about it. Just in general, I just wouldn't think it was weird to see a payphone in the middle of nowhere. So I don't really understand that argument, but that's just my opinion. But a lot of people claim, especially people that saw it in person, they claim that they got just a weird vibe from it, and that it had like a spiritual energy. These rumors just started going around that it was a paranormal object. And one of the rumors, I think, actually might have started before this internet sensation, because it goes back to the 1970s. So I'm not really sure if this just came up again around the time that this, became popular, or if this was something like among locals, like they already knew about it. Back in the 70s, the military used to fly helicopters around that area, so there was speculation about activity going on by the phone. Some of these rumors included alien abductions and the possibility of the phone being a portal to another dimension. I couldn't really find too much on that. It was just pretty much that's what the rumors were. I couldn't find a lot of details or a lot of other stories pertaining to that rumor. Another rumor that was a pretty popular one that I did see coming up again and again when I was researching this topic was Commander Zeno. Supposedly Commander Zeno called into the phone booth quite a bit. Supposedly from outer space, this being that came and visited us in the 1950s and 60s and gave all kinds of warnings about the future of humanity and where we were headed.
I am leaving soon, and you will forgive me if I speak bluntly. The universe grows smaller every day, and the threat of aggression by any group, anywhere, can no longer be tolerated. There must be security for all, or no one is secure. This does not mean giving up any freedom, except the freedom to act irresponsibly.
If you guys know anything about like the occult or like, devil worship or anything like that, maybe this will make sense to you. I'm not sure how this conclusion was drawn, but there were rumors that the phone's number 714-733-9969 was the number of the beast, and that it attracted a lot of satanic cults, and also attracted the Manson family to come to this phone booth. And there's really no like evidence of this being true, but it was just something that people were talking about at this time when this was popular. In general, there were just times where people would call and a ghost would answer or a being from another dimension. Again, it was very frustrating trying to research this because there seemed to be these rumors all over, but there's no specific accounts that I could find. So like I said, a lot of people were just calling from all around the world. They were traveling from different parts of the country, from other countries. Like, it was a huge worldwide attraction. And this was only very short-lived. Like I said, this website went up in 1997, and in May 2000, the phone was removed. So literally 3 years after this website went up, the phone was taken out. And 2000, I feel like, yeah, we were starting to get cell phones then, but I still feel like there were a lot of payphones. I grew up in the Bronx. I remember seeing payphones like on my street until we moved. And I moved when I was like 11, so that was like 2004, 2003. So I mean, if New York City still had payphones, I don't understand why a phone in the middle of the desert that would actually probably have more use would be removed, unless they removed it because it was getting all this attention. People would leave trinkets in it and sadly would vandalize it, so that might be why they removed it. But I don't know, it just seems like a little weird to me. And especially that it was like in the middle of nowhere, so it's like, why would you care if people are vandalizing it? Like, there's nothing around it, it's not like it's gonna be an eyesore. I don't know, like it just seems like kind of strange, and it kind of fast for that to happen, like 3 years. The Los Angeles Times actually did a story on it, so I mean that's how big this thing got. It was pretty much the end of things until 2013. A white hat hacker by the name of Jared Morgan, aka Lucky 225, revived the phone's number, and you can actually call it. I'm just curious. Now, the number here is different than the original number. Like I said, the original number is 714-733-9969, and then the number that he resurrected for this was 760-733-9969. And you can call this number. I'm assuming you could still call it. I'm debating whether or not I should call the number. Because my thing, this is my problem, it's not the same number as the original phone. Comment if you want me to do it. That's the only way I'm going to do it, is if I get enough comments. If I get 10 comments telling me to do it, I'll do it. But otherwise, I'm not doing it. And 10 doesn't sound like a lot, but I only have 27 subscribers at this time, so... Okay. So, here's my thing. I believe that most legends are rooted in truth, so I don't think every story about this phone booth is true, but I do think it had to start somewhere. Like, I don't think people just started making things up out of nowhere for no reason because it was in the middle of nowhere. I'm sure there were like prank calls and things like that once it got popular, but I don't know, I mean, maybe there was something spiritual going on there. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I know it was probably a little shorter than my other ones, just judging by the amount of time it took me to film this. I think it's going to be a little on the short side, but I do hope that you liked it. If you did, please give me a big thumbs up. I really appreciate it. It helps me out a lot. And yeah, let me know. Just say stuff. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this. Do you think that there was something paranormal going on, something alien related? Do you guys want me to call the number that I mentioned? I'll put both numbers in the description if you guys want to do it yourselves, but if you guys want me to do it on camera, you guys let me know. Like I said, 10 comments for me to do it. I'm not going to do it otherwise. I'm like literally terrified of doing it. I don't know why. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already and turn on that notification bell. And you can also follow me on social media at ScarlettMars19. Everything's in the description down below. And yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope to see you in the next one.